CFG Game Cast, episode number 169, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode every week and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love, give us a follow, a like, a comment on any podcast services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
You know, a lot. I feel like I did a lot this week, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, did I? Still moving things around for my dad's estate, so did a lot of that and had to do a lot of cataloging. And someone was like, "Oh, that's great, you got that done." I'm like, the cataloging part. Now I have to look up each individual item and see what it retails for. So yes, I did one thing, but I've created 500 new tasks for myself. You know,
why don't you like get some people in on that? Maybe like help you out with the. I mean, if the cataloging is done now, it's just a matter of getting people to look up the stuff that you cataloged, right?
So I do have help. My godbrother Jared, who I grew up with, so he, knew the ins and outs of like the studio too. He's also super big into music and he understands equipment and things like that. Like he'll get equipment that doesn't work, fix it up, and like sell it. So he's helping me. I have tried to get assistance. Here's the thing. I don't expect my friends, like, I'll give you beer and pizza to come help me with this. I'm not doing that. Like, if you're going to help me, I'm going to pay you. Unfortunately, I don't have the funds for that right now. So it's kind of just, a two-man band. But he's helping a lot and he's kind of in between jobs right now. So he's just chilling. He's like, I don't mind helping at all. And then Adam and I kind of discussed that my dad would have put him in the will. So at the end of this little rainbow, he's going to kind of get a big surprise. Because it's something that my dad definitely would have wanted. But yeah, he's helping me. I've been playing games. We played some Labyrinthine this week. We beat chapter 6. So for those of you in the community, get in close. For those of you in the community that is saying that it is unbeatable, you are liars. It is beatable. I did it. That is all. It was good. Some people are like, I don't understand the storyline. What was there not to understand? Sometimes I wonder if like reading comprehension is just something that's not really taught in schools anymore.
Man. Shots fired. Jesus.
You're going in.
I think like Lincoln could have played this and been like, yeah, I totally understand what happened to so-and-so and why they ended up here and this, that, and the other, But then I'm watching grown adults who are just stroking the chicken nuggets out of their beards and they're like, I don't get it.
My God. What is up with you today?
Can we take a second to appreciate them lips? Look at them lips.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Jesus, you decided to choose just started to throw shade on everyone.
Extreme violence today.
Here's my thing. If you're gonna talk trash on the community that like, oh, it's unbeatable and I don't understand the storyline, maybe go back, reread everything, take a moment, soak it in before you then turn around and type something with that type of audacity, that's what I'm saying. Like, think before you type, you wouldn't walk up to some lady on the street and be like, your skirt's ugly and I hate your face, for no reason. You don't know the person, never met him, but like, that's how I feel people with games are nowadays. And they're like, I don't get it. What was there not to get? It was a good storyline and it's going to continue. Like, this is still all in beta access. Like, calm your titties. The party tick can chill a little bit, but she can still hang out. But like, come on. I mean, oy vey. So yeah, that's it. That's what I did.
Hey, Lex.
Yeah.
You know who didn't choose violence when they woke up today?
Apparently Smitty.
Yes, the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, my dude?
What is going on, friends? I was out last week. Had a great trip back home. What do you mean?
You didn't invite me.
Oh, it was just Illinois. We just went back to Illinois and It was good though. Like I
That's
work with an alumni organization back there.
I think he did you a favor.
And yeah, what? No, it was
I
good.
fit in a suitcase. Come on.
Yeah, so take it easy. But yeah, no, overall it was solid. So I didn't really get any gaming in. But I've just been chilling. Obviously, I've been in terms of gaming, I've been getting down on Destiny 2, been grinding that out. There's some games I know that I need to, like, I feel like the countdown is officially like on for Tears of the Kingdom. So I need to finish Breath of the Wild. So at least I get that base story finished and I can go into Tears of the Kingdom knowing what the story is.
Are you planning on streaming Tears of the first one, or are you planning on just playing it on your own?
Wait, what?
I'm sorry. Are you planning on streaming the first one, or are you planning on just playing on your own?
The first one.
No, I mean, like you're not planning on streaming it in any way, or are you just doing it yourself?
No, no. So for me and Zelda, that is not one that, because again, when I'm streaming and stuff like that, like I have a hard time paying attention to both the game and chat, and my focus tends to be more on chat than the actual game. So I feel like I lose out in the experience of the game. So for me, I would rather just play it offline, enjoy the story, enjoy it, be able to take it all in. And then if it were something that I wanted to do on stream later on where I'm not really having to pay as much attention, then maybe I'd look at it that way. But I mean, why do that when you got Marvel Snap still going? We did get some Snap in. I did terrible this season. I cannot get out of the 40s. I'm literally at like 48 right now. I'm going to try to get to 50 before this. I think today's the last day of the season. But
no, tomorrow. You got tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? Okay, so we still got some time. We still got some time then.
If you need some help, I can help you.
He said, "Get out of here, dude.
I can help you."
This guy is really worse, by the way.
Dude, how can you say that I'm the worst when I'm opening in hand and say I can help you?
I don't mean, all right, yeah, he says that, but I don't believe it.
He doesn't believe it. There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to believe me.
I'm just playing. I said I wasn't going to do this, and I went right down that road.
Oh, that's
I wasn't going to do this, and I went right down that road.
Oh, my God.
Fantastic person.
Are we not live on? Are we not live on Kick right now?
I'm not live. Yeah, well, okay. Well, the thing is that we're on Smitty's account right now. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah. I can't find it.
Yeah.
I need his information.
I'll switch. Yeah, we just opened up kick-ons for CFG Game, so like we're gonna.
Yeah.
Guilt. Here's the thing.
Yes, overall, it was solid. It was a solid weekend. It's been good. I've enjoyed it. We got a family bike ride in yesterday, so it's nice to be able to get outside and just do stuff. So overall, it's been pretty solid. What about you, my friend?
I just love the fact that your kid kicked you off your own bike. That's what I find very funny.
Yeah. So as the youngest, I put the bike seat on my bike, and she was having no part of it. So mommy had to ride my bike, and I had to ride her bike. That was the only way she was content with it. And I was like, this is.
She is clearly daddy's little girl. That's what that is. It's like she's gonna get away with bloody murder when she grows up. That's how I'm feeling.
I know. Hold on, we can change that. But what about you, man? How was your weekend? How's everything going in terms of you and what you got going on?
Oh, it's been going good. Just been I'm actually finally able to kind of start streaming again and more consistently. I think it's kind of starting to settle down a little bit. Man, okay, so spring is here, right? And I need to get like lawn equipment because I have never had lawn equipment for myself because I've lived in an apartment. I lived in an apartment, apartment complex and stuff, and I lived in places that were renting, so they were taking care of all of it. So now I'm like, okay, let me go buy some equipment, and then I'm like, oh, like lawn, like I wanted to get electric. I didn't want to get gas. So since now everything is using battery instead of cords anymore. I decided, you know what, let's do it. And so I'm looking at it, all this stuff, $200, $500. And I'm like thinking to myself, do I really want to spend this much? So I was like, you know what, I'll just pay someone to do it. It's like 25. This is the guy. So I've been like kind of lazily getting someone else to do my lawn for now. But and the thing is, like, the thing that's really getting to me right now is like I have a ton of like crabgrass, which is driving me insane right now. So like I'm trying. So I'm getting that treated as well. So was working with that with another company. So I'm paying people to take care of that. So make sure so that gets eliminated. But in the meantime, though, I did start a new stream with Final Fantasy 13, unfortunately. And yeah, because 13 is going to be the one that's going to try to keep my patience, because 13 I am not a fan of, and I have been trying to beat this for over 10 years now.
This is your Metal Gear Solid 5.
This is my Metal Gear Solid 5. It really is. The difference. Yeah, I need to finish it. It's like, but I've just been procrastinating. Like, yeah, you're right. That's a really good comparison. This is my Metal Gear Solid 5, Smitty. Golly.
I'm going to have to suffer through this.
I'm going to suffer through this completely. The difference is, though, Metal Gear is at least fun, man. This is like,
it is. Yeah.
Like, dude, like I've literally started, maybe I'm in the first 4 hours of the game, and I'm just like, I really don't want to play this. This game is so garbage, like, because these stages are so annoying.
Wait, hold on. Is Metal Gear Solid your Dead Space?
Well, no. See the difference.
No. I love Metal Gear Solid.
I did too, but he's already annoyed with it. So it's like, you like the franchise, but is it turning into your version of Dead Space for me? You know what I mean?
Well, your version of Dead Space was that you were not going to get it. You were not planning on getting it because you didn't like it already. My thing was,
it's not that I didn't like it. I'm tired of games in space.
Yeah, but you knew you weren't willing to. You knew you weren't going to willing to play it. Yeah, but like, yeah. So, but like, mine is like, I need to finish this so I can say I finished all the Final Fantasies, because like originally 12 was the list on that was 12, 13, and 15. I never beat those, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna streaming is gonna keep me honest. I'm going to finish these games when I stream them. And so far so good on 12. 12 made me finish the whole thing. Took 80 hours, finished it. 13 was on the next kids. I said, you know what? I need a break. Took a month off of streaming on it, and then I decided to come and take care of it. Oh, is everything good?
Yep. just my shelf falling apart.
Oh no!
Oh no! It's the one underneath too, isn't it?
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
It's the one underneath too, isn't it?
Yep.
You knew exactly.
Right, we're good. Nothing.
You knew exactly. Yeah. So, but other than
that, because I've sat at that desk and it's scary. It's like this is an OSHA violation.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm good. I just hit 95. I'm 5 levels away to hit the max that I need to for.
Got it, dude.
For Snap. So I'm probably gonna do that tonight and see if we can go with it. But it's crazy. It's crazy when I think about like this season. I started at level 20. Like, yeah, I was like, and I just been cruising, man. That was such a great one.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. I don't know. Move decks are difficult. Like, I just like. You gotta really know your stuff with a move deck, I feel.
You know what? Actually, I didn't. You know, to be honest with you, I didn't really started using move deck on my run until I hit level 60, level 50,
okay.
level 20 to level 60. I did not. I was using the troll deck. I was the one using the Doc Ock, and the destroying thing. That's freaking hilarious.
I can't believe you're. Yeah, that's an interesting deck. That is an interesting deck.
Yeah. I just want to see if it worked very well, and it did definitely in the beginning. And then you know where you have those lulls where it doesn't work, it just keeps on it's backfiring. I took a break off of it. I used my Lockjaw deck, and then the Lockjaw deck is I really liked a lot. So
I have to be honest, I zoned out for a minute and I was like, oh, he has Lockjaw? That's awful. Poor thing. And then I'm like, oh, you're talking about a goddamn game. Never mind. Shut up.
Snap.
Yes.
Snap.
It never says that for me, even when I win.
Snap.
You got double snap.
Oh, you have to actually snap.
Yeah.
Which means what? Pressing a button?
You know where it says where it says the cube, where the little cube area where it has the number? Yeah, you have to press the cube thing.
You can get up to max 8
yeah.
cubes. Yeah.
Yeah. It says like opponents. There's opponent snap, and then there's
It's like raising, like it would be like raising the stakes essentially. and then they
Like
can
in
either
poker,
fold
like,
or
I'm going
Exactly.
all in. Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm losing, so I
Man,
stopped.
yeah. Oh, come on. You have to get back
You'll
into
learn.
it.
You'll learn though. You start learning and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. Like it's fun.
NT Man says Mass Effect Andromeda was a fine took years to nibble at. Oh God, yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda. I still haven't touched that, and I don't think I ever will. I never will. That's just terrible. There's a max to that game. There's not a max to the game. Like once you hit a level 100, the rank 100. You could do whatever you want at that point. Like you've
gotten all the rewards.
Yeah, you've gotten all the rewards. Yeah. You've done everything. So like even if you go under 100, it's not going to penalize you. So you can still get up because there's a guy that's ranked number. I think he's at rank 635 in it.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. Like he just kept on going. Yeah,
is he?
Well, I don't know. The guy is
and they must. That's a combination of RNG, math skills, and a solid deck.
Yeah, and yeah, I know, right? So like, yeah, move decks, but like, my main thing is the move. Once I start with since I tweaked out the move deck to its full optimization, it is hard to beat that game. It is fully optimized because like the real big problem I had was I had no defensive cards. Because like I couldn't use Cosmo and stuff, but I found a way to fit in Shang-Chi and Leech inside my deck. And, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, and Magneto. I found a way to even put in Magneto. Magneto has been a great save. So yeah, people don't expect. They think you're about to move with Heimdall, and all of a sudden, boom, Magneto. Then it yeah, exactly. It's like gotcha.
That is pretty nasty. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, but anyway, I know most of y'all folks don't want to talk about my strategies and my hardcore styles of Marvel Snap. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion from the previous week of the world of gaming. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners, on twitch.tv, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Kick, to be a part of the conversation. So if there's something that you wanted to type in and TikTok, yes, there you go. Thank you. But if there's something you want to chime in or talk about, by all means, type it inside the chat. We got Lex looking at all the other chats and stuff that we have here. But let's get this party started. So Smitty, start us off. What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys have heard of it by now, but Multiversus is going to be shutting down their open beta. First thing, who knew that this was an open beta? Because I certainly didn't know it was an open beta.
It's not an open beta.
It is an open beta. Multiversus is an open beta. It is not early access. It's not. But they didn't really put out that there was.
They didn't call it an open beta, did they?
They did not call it an open beta.
No. It was a full-fledged game as a service. That's what that was. There's not an open beta. They're trying to retro.
Apparently it was an open beta.
Yeah, straight lies.
Allegedly.
Straight lies.
Allegedly. So essentially this is going to be shutting down June 15th. It's going to be down until 2024. I don't believe a hard date has been set. We just know that it's going to be sometime next year. And we know right now that you can still download it up to the 4th. So you have 2 days left as of this recording to be able to download it. Once it's offline, you can still do like in-house games and you could do like the training and stuff like that. But like if you haven't earned it or whatever, everything is going to be locked behind. And then you were saying, and this is where I'm getting confused, because I was talking to Davies about this here earlier, and you said that they plan on not doing anything once they re-release it. Like after that, they're not going to support the game. They're not going to bring I thought this was a live service game.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. This is what it was. Because this is blatantly, they didn't get what they were wanting out of this game, so they're pivoting. They're clearly pivoting on this. So, what was this game was supposed to be a game as a service? Because like they had season passes, they had the monthly stuff, they had the skins, they had all the money, the money, their reference, their bucks or whatever and stuff like that. They were full all in on game as a service, full microtransaction, free to play model. So what ended up happening was that all of the fan base that was playing this game died essentially, just like Rumbleverse and just like the other ones that's been experiencing it. They lost virtually all their there was no one playing on Steam anymore then and stuff like that. So what they ended up probably and this is not officially what they did, but this is what I'm assuming what they did was this. They said this game is a game. I mean, it's a game. I mean, it's a complete game. There's nothing else that you're really needing to do. You could just basically close it off and call it another Smash Brothers essentially if you wanted it to. Well, I mean, another of party game kind of that. So the big thing is that they decided we're going to shut the servers down. We're not going to make this game as a service anymore. All the stuff, all the content that we've created, all the things that were behind the paywall will not be in the paywall. It's just going to be included. We're probably going to call it the Multiversus Championship Edition or whatever game, and we're going to release it on all services like PlayStation, Microsoft, Xbox, and stuff like that. And the only difference is they're not going to support the like new DLC, new stuff like that, like new content to be added to this game. So that's what they're doing. They're shutting the live services down, wait 6 months or so, and then they're going to re-release the game, the full game, without any paywalls. You're gonna get everything and sell it and buy it back on Steam and Steam and all consoles and stuff. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's a good idea for them to do that, but I think the bad part of it is the people that did spend the money for the microtransactions and stuff are basically out in the wind because they've even said they're not doing any refunds for the people that were actively playing with the that paid money for the season passes and the characters and stuff like that. So yeah.
Man, that seems like a bait and switch. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be like I don't know. It just seems wrong.
Oh yeah.
Because they very much played it out as this is what it is, and we've been seeing it too, that these free-to-play models have really lost a lot of their popularity. And this isn't, Knockout, is it Knockout Kings they shut that down. There's a bunch of other.
Is Knockout Kings gone?
They're shutting that down, dude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Did you not? He said, surprise.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, so like a lot of these games that had this free-to-play model that they've come out with just hasn't been successful. And I'm not really 100% sure why, why it just lost steam like it did. Because it literally won Game of the Year for fighting games that year. So like, how do you go from that to just a dead community? If anything, this should be something that they are looking at and being like, okay, where did this go wrong? And please, I'm kind of glad that some of these free to plays are not having that success, because there's just too many of them. There's too many of them, and I'd rather some of that focus be put on, hey, here's the price for this game. You pay it. Maybe they do a DLC later or something like that. But like, everything doesn't have to be that free to play model. Although I felt like if they were to keep up with the content, have active, new IPs and characters that they bring in, new levels and stuff like that, I thought it could have worked. But
that was
the big
plan.
tell there, and that was the plan, was that the community just completely
killed it.
There's just too many other games.
Spirit, yeah.
There's too many other good games to be like, I need to keep coming back and playing this. I feel like they should have really leaned on the tournament aspect and stuff like that to keep it relevant. But, once that slowed up, it completely, everybody lost interest. There's too many other good games that came out. So, for me, it's not shocking, even with the lineup and the IPs that are a part of WB Games, like, and all the other entities that they have. I think that there could have been some longevity to it, but they didn't hit the mark. And again, you always have to kind of look at, all right, well, why is Smash popular, and why does Smash do it, and why, do they not run into the same issues? I think it's a good kind of, at least anything, case study to look at successfully doing a platformer and one that had it had the hype, and I'm sure there's a lot of money towards marketing and promoting that they put towards it. But again, we all know that if you don't have something solid or continue, then it's going to die out pretty quickly. And that's what we saw with it. Yeah. I think Disney's working on a platformer as well, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
I won't be surprised.
Again, I also would not be surprised. Here's the thing. I think they're trying to create a game that is just like Smash, but for the new generations, right? And I think the problem there is the new generations aren't playing the games that we were, because again, we got one game a year. We had to continuously play that game over and over, beat it a million times until next birthday, next Christmas, whatever. Now you have a plethora of games at your hands, at your fingertips at all times, whether it be your cell phone, your tablet, your computer, your Xbox, your PlayStation, and it's hard to, it's almost like a test, right? So okay, we'll create something similar to Smash, but with, other lovable characters that would never make it in Smash, right? So let's create that and see how that goes with the audience. Everyone seemed to love it. They continued on with it. And then it died out. Why did it die out? And I think that's where companies need to figure out, I don't think they're doing enough R&D in that area to figure out. Again, I assumed this would be a pay for service game because of the way that it is. And, you would need new levels, you would need new characters, you would need new this, new that. Right. But it's just not hitting the mark, and it should have. And it did
I don't
for a
know.
while.
It's really, really, okay. So I think the genre specifically that they were in is incredibly hard to get into, because like the problem is,
and it's competitive.
Well, literally. It's not really, well, no, it's not competitive. That's the funny thing about it, because the thing is this, the number one game in that world is Smash. You're not going to beat Smash regardless of anything that you do, anything you say. No one cares about number 2. No one cares about number 3, and that's the problem. And I think that's the biggest problem, because like there's no other game that you could say, oh, I want to play Smash Brother, or I want to play a Smash like game, but I don't want to play Smash. There's no game like that. And then every time, and then you're trying to tell that same said community that you're going to play a game, but it's going to be a microtransaction force game to do this kind of deal. I think that they were trying to do something different, which is very like I said, like, hey, kudos to you on doing that. Didn't work, unfortunately. But and then same thing, because like what the hell happened to Nick All Brawl, the Nick All Brawl game that came out like 2 years ago? Yeah, like no one. They said it's a good.
I don't even think I know what that is.
Exactly, that game is it's a good game. It's supposed to be a good game and stuff like that, but it comes back to the fact that it's not Smash Brothers, and that's the mentality, and that's what I've always thought, that like, wow, it's very ballsy trying to go, like, you're saying you're not wanting to compete with Smash, but let's face it, you are, when you're doing those kind of games, because like, and then you got like, like what's coming soon, Crash Bandicoot's doing Crash Bandicoot's doing a Smash like game coming soon too. Well, yeah, and it, like exactly. So I'm just saying that it's that it's a very tough thing to get into in this situation. But
and I think you misunderstand what I mean by competitive. I'm not saying that there's 6, 7, 8 games vying for everybody's attention.
Right.
Smash is a monopoly in this, 110%. It is an absolute monopoly. So trying to create something that would bring that same kind of viewership, that loyalty to it is almost impossible at the end of the day, right? So it is competitive in that fact. So, as the game creators, they're sitting around the table going, okay, Smash is big. We're creating something similar. How can we make this bigger, better, and keep a fan base that will consistently keep coming back, right? That's what I mean by competitive. Okay. And the problem is, you can't. You can't surpass it. And like you said, game 2, game 3, game 4, No one's talking about them. Could I even list them? No. And
Yeah,
I was in the game community, but I can't see Smash, so don't ask me, because when my little dude flies up, I'm like, where'd he go? I don't know. I would pick people based on outfits so I could see them, and then I was basically just being launched off the board the entire time. So like, unless you're gonna let me stand next to the TV this close, I can't see nothing. It's game over.
I think this is also indicative of another issue within the industry, in the fact that there was a quick pivot when we went into the lockdowns. Everybody was at home. We're playing video games. People are doing this. We've seen this in a couple of other industries as well. They have not pivoted back to, we're seeing it in VR as well. They have not pivoted back to the fact that things have normalized as much as they're going to, since the pandemic. So all those numbers, and I feel like they're just inflating the stuff by using marketing and promotions. So you get this false sense of popularity to the fact that it won an award for the game. And then this game is essentially shutting down for 6 months. It was a beta. Number one, it was a beta.
I don't believe it's a beta. I just don't like
it's beta, dude.
They threw in
beta.
They threw in the beta name after it failed. That's how it truly feels like to me. It
is how it feels like. I know, and that's like, no, I totally agree with that too. But like, for them to go and then shut it down for starting in June, and then just saying, sometime in 2024 it's going to come back out, and then they're going to no longer support.
No, that was the game.
Like that.
Yeah.
That seems. That seems. Insane.
I will refuse to believe. I will never call that a beta, because dude, they were full steam going. That's
what everybody.
That doesn't even make sense. They're calling. They had a structure that they went with. Beta. Yeah, I was like, okay. It's like, they'll
go. Final product.
They'll send an email to everyone that played that game. Thank you for playing our beta Multiversus. It's like, I'll be like, no, you're full of it. I'm gonna call out and see it. It was out. That game was out. Y'all just didn't get what you wanted out of it, and that is perfectly okay. That you could be pissed that y'all lost money on it, and you don't want to admit that it was a failure. It was a failure. You're going to. I mean, if you're only going to switch over and calling it a beta to say, oh, that's a W for us. People were interested. Then that's just an ego thing. But the way that you're doing this right now, I'm pivoting it and wanting to release the whole package as a regular game itself without it, I think that's a genius move for you to do in the first place. I mean, I think if y'all wanted to because what do you have to do that? You just say, okay, instead of being on the server, we're giving you a physical copy of the same game, and you can play on just have online play or local co-op. That's it. You don't need anything else. So why are y'all going back like that? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, but no, I will refuse to call that was a beta release. Y'all were selling season passes that were a month a piece, monthly. Y'all were selling microtransactions for real money and stuff like that, and you're calling it a beta. It's like, yeah, go screw off.
Yeah, it's definitely shenanigans, but. Again, too, and I think this is where that free-to-play model is kind of losing steam. Yeah, I mean, again, there's just an influx in video games in all kinds of different ways, all kinds of different packages. You've got Game Pass, you've got, different ways to be able to get video games, where these free-to-play games, you're not really doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never really progressing anywhere, and I just feel like it has really lost that steam. And again, like I was saying with VR, where they're pricing these things out at $1,500 for the Pro. What the hell am I going to do with the Pro? A Pro VR? I'm not using this on a daily. Like, that is an investment, and if I'm not using that daily in some capacity to make money, that's way too much for a leisure item.
And you know what I find fascinating when you say VR? A game I play a lot. I'm very big into indie horror. I play Labyrinthine. They are now VR capable, which
that would be crazy.
The part of me is like, I don't know if I can do that. I have to sit down in my chair to play that. But you know what I'm saying?
You should not be allowed to play it at all on VR. Period. At all. This game is not for Lex in VR mode. That should be in a little
But
subtitle
if I
mode.
sit down and play,
no.
No.
None whatsoever.
Denied.
I'm sorry.
You ableist bastard.
Don't call me an ableist. Don't call me an ableist on this. You know as well as why I don't trust you in VR.
Okay,
Oh,
look,
exactly,
I fell into a
NT. The
trash
market
can.
can only support so many of the same genres.
Yeah.
And you're
I
going to have
agree.
your top 3, and those are going to be the ones that people are typically playing. Anything else is going to barely, they're getting a small piece of that market share. And then it's not viable for them.
He also
Especially
said
if it's a
too,
live service game.
think about
Yeah.
it. When a big streamer streams it, people are like, "Oh yeah, great game.
Yeah.
I'll join in." And then that streamer moves on because they have to, because that's our job. We have to play new games consistently, or we're going to go
have to.
stagnant. Then the fan base.
I know people that
also
play one
moves on.
game.
Mhm.
It's crazy to me.
I mean,
I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, that's true. If the love of the community
I
is
play
there,
cat games.
yeah, then it's fair. But the way the way that Multiversus worked though, when it first came out, the thing that they got people interested was, remember, I think this came out around when Evo came out last year. Because there was because there was a tournament that they were going to give 100 G's for the for the whole thing, for the whole people. So that motivated a lot of people to play that game, to figure out how it works, and then they're realizing it was a fun game. But to say that there was I don't know if there was a star that you would want to attach to to that game itself, but it's just. But I don't know. I just think that they got a lot of fan base initially, but they were trying to go hardcore with tournament base initially. But then after that, when they were adding all the extra stuff, it just started fizzling out. And I think they were just naturally fizzling out because this wasn't out of the ordinary, because we've lost 5 paid games as a service in less than 7 months. I mean, that's big games, So it's just people's interest just gone from this stuff,
Oversaturated. It's
yeah.
oversaturated both in genre and style, and I think people are over it. The new and shiny has worn off on that model.
And that's the thing too. I think if you're gonna try to create something new, create something that we haven't seen before. That's what's gonna really grab people's attention. If you're
that's not even guaranteed. I mean,
and I agree, it isn't. But at least you're taking a chance on, creating a fan base for a different type of genre and bringing in something new to the table. I'm tired of seeing the same old BS repackaged, in a shiny new little bow. I don't want that. I want something new. I want something different. Give it to me. And make it accessible for people like myself.
That sounds.
You know what? I don't care.
That's funny. Alrighty, but we'll see.
Yeah, rip the Multiversus.
Yeah, Multiversus. We'll see. But rest in peace, Multiversus, until we see you in 2024. But what I hope that they really do? I really hope they don't charge us. I hope they don't charge $60 for that game. At this point,
that would be a slap in everybody's face.
Yeah, if they charge full price like that, then that's gonna be a problem. There's gonna be some.
That would be insane. At best, that's like a $20 game.
Yeah, I'll be fine if they give you 40 because of the amount of content that they added and stuff that they put inside this game. But still, no, not 60. There was a
beta test.
There was a lot. Yeah, I know, but there was a lot, dude. I bought the first pass and I didn't even finish it. I was already over it when I bought the first pass. I was just like, nah, I'm good.
I made it up to the first season and then there's a little break and I never went back to the
exactly. I didn't even finish the season of the first pass. I was just like, okay, cool. I got the preseason pass, got it, and I was like, okay, cool. I got LeBron James. And then I was like, okay, it's like, you know what? I don't want to play anymore. That's the way other games.
Their character choice was weird too.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry, Tom and Jerry is not like younger generation. That's more our generation. Tom and Jerry, not younger generation. You know what I mean? it works for Nintendo because their generations span over multiple generations. These characters that we've grown to love. You know what I mean? Like Tom and Jerry. Like people be like, who the hell is Tom and Jerry? Like, oh yeah, it was a cartoon we used to watch.
Can you imagine if they had like the Three Stooges is going to be one of the characters or something? Like, yeah,
it would have been great to see what other kind of weird random hodgepodge of characters they would have thrown in, but you know.
John McClane has entered the fight.
Right. Oh my god.
That would be great. That would be great. It's like, hey, John Wick is here now too. That would be very odd.
Yeah. That would have been awesome. That's who they should have added was John Wick.
He just killed Shaggy. No. All right, but a good topic. Okay, my topic is. Oh, I'm sorry. What were we gonna say, Lex?
I don't think they could have added John Wick because he's in Fortnite.
Oh, that's true.
They might have that licensing. So.
No, they got it was a skin. It's not, but they didn't have the character. I mean, if they own the character, I mean, they can do whatever the hell they want with it. They leased out the character to them to do it. So who knows? I mean, but I don't even know if they even own John Wick. I don't know. I was talking out of my butt. But anyways, yeah, that's offensive now. You know, nowadays that's offensive.
Call him out. Call him out.
I forgot the frog.
Remember, you gotta do.
I don't understand. I'm gonna have to Google again. I can't
dial.
I always forget what it is. See, I know that there's something with that frog. And...
Use the code cancel Smitty for Raid Shadow Lich.
No, actually, we already have a code. Use code hashtag forever beta for 50 free Smash passes in Raid Shadow Legends.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh my god.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, okay. So my topic is the unfortunate news that in these 2 years in a row that E3 is not happening. It's actually kind of funny. I have a story about that, but I'd like to share. It's actually kind of pretty funny to me. But the gist is this. E3 back in last year they announced ReedPop was going to be setting up E3 the show for 2023. Prior to that, 2022 E3 was fully canceled. No digital, no physical release of the show itself came out that year. So people were speculating E3's dead. But then ReedPop announced, said, nope, we're gonna run the show for next year. Everyone was hyped. I was hyped. I was really looking forward to it. Smitty was really looking forward to it. And we applied. We did our stuff. Back in December, I believe, right? Like it was a long time. Yeah, it was a while ago. So we were just waiting to get our credentials and stuff like that. We haven't heard anything back. They give us an email like 2 weeks ago saying, hey, you want to join the E3 press? Register today. And I'm like, I emailed them back and I was like, I registered back in December. Haven't heard anything back. What's up? What's the status of it? And then they never replied back to me. Anywho, so during the time of E3 that they were claiming that it was going to be announced, there were certain announcements that were happening. Like they announced Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo said that they were going to be a part of the show this year, their show this year. And then I was like, that's okay because they weren't technically in the show in 2019 either. They did their own different kind of thing, their own special different kinds of things. So I was like, okay, that's cool. But the thing that hurt, that kind of put the writing on the wall was third-party companies, big third-party companies were saying no. Ubisoft said no, which is saying something to myself. I was like, what the hell? If Ubisoft's saying no, then that's not good. Ubisoft, Sega, and Tencent Games also said no to recently, and I was like, oh, that's going to be harder to kind of justify you wanting to go out there to attend the show. So I told my the people that were originally going to go to CFG to E3 for the CFG. I told them, you know what? Cancel everything. I don't think we should do the show because I don't think it's going to be a very good show, even if they did play it, even if they did do it. And because going to California is expensive now. So I was like, we're just going to scrap it. Don't worry about it. So then the day after I said that, I get an email back from E3 from ESA saying that they canceled the show officially, and I was like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah, I figured as much that this was not going to be a good thing if they did cancel it, or if they were going to go pursue it. So yeah. So now people are speculating E3 is 100% dead, which I mean, it's very justifiable speculations at this point in time, and people are just kind of wondering like what's in store for it now in the near future. I for one think that they need I have an idea what they should do, which is kind of crazy. I would say you just need to y'all just need to kill it, completely kill it. Y'all gotta make a new show, like just a brand new show, have like from the ground and build from the ground up, because the biggest problem that E3 had initially was their weird pivot to public/press to media. People hated that transition, especially companies, because Sony really wasn't a big fan of it when they did that. So like they need to get a new identity. They need to start again, just go back to the table, call it something else for the new generation, and just let E3 become something that a piece of gaming history that was around since like the early 90s to now, like give it a full date and stuff. Then go somewhere, and then go somewhere else. Los Angeles Convention Center sucks. I'm sorry, that's just me. I hate the Los Angeles Convention Center so much. So much things are around it, but yet at the same time, it's such a pain in the butt. I would rather go to some place like Vegas or some like because like Las Vegas Convention Center may be out of the way a little bit, but there is so much on that strip that people can be entertained and introduced, and that people and companies can do all this crazy stuff from that. I think a lot more than what they would have ever been able to do with Los Angeles, because Los Angeles, not a great city for this kind of thing, in my opinion, in my personal opinion itself. And then do whatever you call, like I said, whatever the powers that be is going to be. Just start a new show. Let it go. Just like at this point, let it go. We're 2 years in. The pandemic really kind of accelerated its death. But at this point, y'all need to figure out what y'all wanting to do, instead of trying to put it like a Band-Aid over it and have some other group like Repop to be a part of it. Figure out what y'all need to do, and then come back when y'all are ready. You don't have to be like a media or whatever. Just hurry up and do something. So I kind of want to get y'all's opinions on this, like what y'all think about the news of E3 being gone, and where should it go from there at this point.
I liked E3. E3, I've said it before, E3 is one of the only ones that I genuinely enjoyed. I feel like the way that they marketed things, the way that they presented things was a lot better than these other companies like Microsoft and Nintendo and so on and so forth. Even PlayStation, I think the way that they have always brought even indie games, like the way that they've presented them makes it interesting. Even if it's not a genre that I'm interested in really playing, it grabs my attention. It keeps me focused. It's kind of like when you watch the Grammy or Oscars, right? You're like, oh, I haven't seen this movie. Who cares, right? Not with E3. E3 is really good about like, hey, look at this new game. Doesn't that look snazzy? Don't you want to play it? And they've always done a really good job, and I'm sad to hear that it's gone. Honestly, I feel like because everybody's separate, I don't really care anymore. If they were all still doing things like they were previously through E3 and presenting and doing all of that, that was more exciting to me. Even when they separated, I still enjoyed E3. But I'm kind of at this point where I'm like, I don't care. If you guys can't get along and figure out how to make a good award show, or how to make the previews for what we should be expecting in the next 6 months to a year to 2 years, what you're working on, I don't care anymore. I just don't care. And then half the time they show you something fantastic, and this isn't just, I'm not saying E3. This is with other companies. They'll show you something fantastic, and then you don't hear about it for a year and a half until it's then released, and the marketing for it is just absolutely terrible. So do I really care? No. Do I agree that it shouldn't have been an LA Convention Center? Yes. But I know you had already signed up for it, Davis. Are they going to refund you?
Oh, I didn't pay anything. I mean, that
because you're going as you were going as a
I was going as
journalist.
press. Yeah.
Press. That's correct. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like
nice.
like technically, since you are a part of the podcast, I just didn't know what your schedule is like, but that's the biggest thing. But
currently, after the summer, I'm wide open. That sounds bad.
Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, the whole thing is just like I think we need a show. The press does need a show. I loved going to places like GDC, for instance, and stuff like that. PAX is great. But PAX's like environment is a lot different because it's for everybody. But I think that media needs a show to be able to access it, to excessively get showcased to and have things that's more hands-on for the people that's in the industry itself. That's what E3 was. And then E3's level, like when E3 decided to say we're going to open up the floodgates, we're going to let everyone get a chance to do it, but then the process of it was catastrophic. That was catastrophic in my opinion, which really killed it in my opinion. And it just was a nightmare not for just the vendors, but also for like the media groups, because the media groups, it was virtually impossible to get to certain places that you needed to go to because of the crazy traffic, because the ridiculous lines. Like Smitty, it got so crazy that there was a point where people were paying other people to take their place in line, like the people that had regular passes, just to play a 15-minute demo of a game that's going to come out 6 to 8 months later, which is ridiculous to me. And that's where all this mayhem came from. And I'm not a big fan, and I was not a fan of all of this. It was way better that it was really like missed until
press.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That really made
more
it
of an industry event as opposed to a public
endeavor. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I loved it as an industry event. It was great as an industry event. And then when the second that they didn't do an industry event and they said we're just gonna make it open, it killed it. It killed the magic. It legitimately killed the magic of that event, in my opinion. But what about you, Smitty? I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
Real quick, NT, and I said this was more of a question for you guys. I wonder if the fight over Activision Blizzard caused ill will with the big three, and that's why they pulled out.
No, absolutely not. So. Yeah. The Sony pulled out. Sony pulled out from E3 years ago. Like what happened was that I think the last
over like 5 years now, right?
Yeah, the last thing Sony ever advertised on E3 was like officially on E3 was around 2018, because that was a Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2. That was it. And then and then during that time they were already had one foot out the door. It was terrible. Then Microsoft was like the kind of and Nintendo's been years. This was even way before that.
They've been doing that.
Yeah,
they've been gone.
That's the biggest thing though, and that's the thing about change, that they were trying to hang on to something that already, and like you said, the pandemic just pushed it forward even faster. But it was, especially once they opened it up and made it so it wasn't necessarily an industry event. That was super problematic. And like you were saying, it did kind of take away that was the purpose of it. What was for industry folks to sit down, be able to do things, set up interviews, get early looks, create content, based off of this stuff. And then you're barely able now it's like being at Disneyland and you're waiting to get on for one thing, and you may get a conversation with somebody or whatever. Like that was that was definitely a mistake on their part. But this to me was inevitable. Like we said, Nintendo been doing this stuff. It was only a matter of time before the other ones say, you know what, people are comfortable enough that they're going and we're still seeing the same numbers. Why would we pay all this money to go to this building where we can do this for a lot cheaper and still get out the same kind of message and get out the same kind of information? And now we're curtailing it just for us. and just for our products. So we don't even have to worry about other people showing things or competing. You know what I mean? They're able to control the event and what they're doing. And they could do it both as a physical event and as a virtual event. So
see, but it's funny you mentioned that though, because when you're saying that, and I definitely see your point of view, and it definitely makes sense on like, I mean, when all that happened, but there is still space for physical events. It's just that the way that they did it, the way they executed it was just terrible. Because I remember a long time ago, you mentioned yourself that Summer Game Fest, eventually, with Jeff Keighley was going to eventually have a physical event. You even called it, and I was like, I don't think they're going to do it, but but they did. They did last year with the called Summer Game Fest Game Days, and then they had enough. I mean, it wasn't like a huge convention center kind of thing situation, but it was meant for the press. It was meant for the media to do these things, to do these kind of things. That's and they're going to do it again this year apparently. So someplace a little bit bigger. But I'm just saying that it's there, but E3 really dropped the ball on all that, you know? So but for the most part, you're totally right. Because of how things are nowadays, there's no reason why companies need to really go to physical events that much. But they like to.
I'm gonna miss the doing the bingo and the cards and things like that, which that is a part of the excitement that I did miss when we didn't have anything from E3 last year. I was like, oh, that's all right. Summer Game Fest will scratch that itch,
right?
But I still didn't get that excitement. Those are more controlled. Temper your expectations. This is over the next couple of months,
right,
during the summer, as opposed to 1 week long event where you're just getting smashed in the face with all kinds of different news and things to look forward to and whatnot. So
you and I agreed on that. We were like, oh, it's probably not going to be missed, and then it was missed. We did enjoy it, and I think missing it made us realize, wow, they actually know what they're doing, and they're doing it right, and everyone else just kind of sucks.
But now it doesn't even, because I thought this would have been a great opportunity too for some of these smaller developers and studios to get some serious time at E3. But I mean, when you started having Sega, Tencent, these other
big third parties,
whoa, pump the brakes, that was definitely troublesome seeing that. And then they were like this. They were just like, all right, we're canceled. Done. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. So I don't know. This might be, I think you're right though, Davis. I would love to see them completely pivot, get away from that and create something entirely new. I think that's the only way. The old ways are gone and how they were doing things. They need to get innovative and figure out a new way to be able to bring in an audience and bring people in and bring in developers, more importantly, to want to be able to, whatever it looks like, right. To be able to get that interest and gain that interest back. So it's sad. It's sad to see it. I was really looking forward to going this year.
Oh man, it would have been fun.
My first time.
I know. Yeah, especially if Donk, because Donk was gonna hook us up big time, and that would be it would have been a really cool thing to be chilling with Donk and stuff. But I mean, unfortunately, we just gotta wait another time to do it again. But hopefully we'll see where this is going to go. Hopefully, I'm gonna keep an eye open on a new date. Maybe see what's going to happen with the ESA. That's another thing, because the ESA is only meant specifically for was built because of E3. Now since if E3 is having troubles building a show like this, they need to figure. They have to. I'm giving them benefits of the doubt. They have to be thinking of what they need to do, because that's 2 years in a row.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 years in a row. There's clearly a problem that they need to figure out what they need to do. They need to figure out what the identity is needing to be of the show that they're wanting to make, and stick to it. And just there's so many different kinds of deals, man. Just oh my God, it's terrible. But anyways,
I feel like it all suffers from the same thing in the gaming industry, is oversaturation. There's just now an overabundance of everything. And, people, the consumers are a lot more picky about what they're going to, use their time and spend their time on. And unless you have something solid, it's just, there's definitely seems to be a disconnect. There's this weird disconnect between the community and the industry, I feel like, as a whole. And it'll be interesting to see especially with these companies that and studios that are successful and do, nothing but praise from their communities and what they produce and stuff like that. I think we'll start seeing more of the rise of companies like that doing things, and some of these big guys are just trying to shovel out stuff to get dollars. I think we're going to see them starting to possibly get hurt. People have too many choices, and if you can't bring it, then you're going to have a very negative financial impact. And we're seeing it all across the technology sector within layoffs and stuff like that. They overestimated what they thought was going to happen. Things tempered down, and now they're all bloated. It's bloated everywhere.
NT says, chimed in inside the chat, just like everyone else can chime in the chat, says, when it was E3 back in the day, it was our main source of info. Now with all the online platforms, you can see game news on demand. And you know what's funny? There's a I mean, that's very true. I mean, back in the day when we didn't have internet, or internet was at its infantile states, E3 was the source to go to about, the games are coming out, get hyped for these games and stuff. But there's a difference between, like, it still could be that way, is what I'm saying. It's like it still could be, like, the reason why it was so select and it was so dreamy back in the day was because it was incredibly selective. It was only access to people within the industry. It wasn't open for everybody to get access to it. In my opinion. And I think that there's still space to do that, because I still think it's very useful to for people to have a chance to actively have a place to go to, like for instance, there's multiple times game studios like to send like content creators or people, like if they have a deal with them, they'll send them to their location to check out their upcoming greatest thing and stuff like that. But then and then they sign an NDA, and then they'll come back to you later on. They'll be like, okay, this is what we had a chance to sneak peek to go to try the Street Fighter 6 behind closed doors and stuff like that. They do that all the time, but it's not, but for full press media and stuff like that, it's not very common to have a place that you could actively, don't necessarily need to be mailed or flown into. Just they're already there. Mess around, talk to developers, network with developers, with companies and stuff, questions, Q&A, all this different kinds of stuff. Not even just for the game specifically. And that's the biggest thing. Cause like when I went to E3, I didn't play one game there. I was talking to all the people back in, like the people in the back, like with the marketers and stuff like that and things like that. So I can talk to them and be able to, it was a great place to network, was the biggest thing, was the best thing I loved about it. And then have these nice meetings, these places. Oh man, you have no idea the places that they were reserving with the food and all this craziness.
Imagine.
It's just like, that's what I'm missing about it. And that's probably what it is like, I'm not really conveying that to that much, is like that level of networking is not is very, very crucial, especially for a small website like I have and stuff, to be able to have access to the big people like Square Enix, Capcom, Konami, all these different big companies, because they're not the ones that are going to be like, oh, Davis wants there's a game that we really want Davis and the CFG to know about, so let's fly them out there. No, I'm a spec in there, in the full view of what they're at. They're wanting to get the people with the high numbers and stuff like that. No, and it's totally understandable. I don't count that against them. That's what it is. And to gain access to that, to have a place to be, like, to be centralized, to find that, to talk to these same said people, is something very vital. That is what I'm going to truly miss about E3 with it. So. But anyway, so we'll see. Hopefully they change something, or hopefully something new we'll see in the future. But yeah, I'll go with it. It bums me out to go with it. Although they did invite me to Summer Game Fest game days, so I am definitely going to go to that.
Did they really? Oh, yeah. I can't believe you haven't even. Oh Lord, my bad. Whoops.
So
you got me. I am now. I can't believe that. Who did? How do I get?
So Smitty and I get to also go right with our press passes.
I don't. Well, they sent me. Well, when I sent them the email, literally the day after they emailed saying E3 was canceled. Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Days emailed saying, "Hey, we're still on." Like it was clearly. Clearly.
Did you see the picture on Twitter? It's like you're a little too happy, Jeff. That picture, like, oh. E3's canceled, but you know it's not canceled.
Oh,
Summer
man.
Game Fest is still going.
Summer
Wow.
Gun Fest? Oh yeah, no.
Hold
that's
on, let me see, because like I was like, holy crap, like that's so much shade thrown at E3, like so fast. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So like oh yeah, so here it is. Yeah, so like literally not even 24 hours. Not even 24 hours when that happened. I get an email from Summer Game Fest, and they said Video Game Summer isn't canceled. Summer Game Fest is still here, June 8th. And I'm like, what? It's like you're gonna be talking that like and stuff like that. So yeah, so then they're like, okay, we're gonna have a physical event and stuff. And I said, okay. So I talked to them. I talked to their people. They're like, okay, we're gonna get, we'll send you some passes for it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So,
where's it gonna be at? Have they said?
Yeah, it's gonna be in it's gonna be in California, but I'm not gonna say where. Not yet. But yeah, it's gonna be in California. But yeah, not in downtown, which is thank God.
Smitty and I will be taking
Summer Gun Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's freaking hilarious. But it is. All right, Lex,
It's me.
close us
All
out.
right.
What you bring in?
So, Last of Us news. I know, Lex, all you need to keep me. I love The Last of Us. Okay, it's an amazing game. If you haven't played it, please do. The show is also fantastic. Pedro Pascal is everybody's daddy, and if you don't know, now you know. You're welcome. So interestingly, and I read it, and I was like, why are they having issues? So I read an article, and it basically was saying that people on PC were having issues with the game. And I was like, I played it on PC with keyboard and mouse. And then it dawned on me, no, I didn't. I played it on my PlayStation 4 and I had it over onto my PC. So The Last of Us released, the first Last of Us, released on PC, I believe about 5 days ago. So a lot of people obviously are playing keyboard and mouse because a lot of people who play on PC do mostly play with keyboard and mouse. There's an issue. About 43% of users, and this review is hysterical, so I'm going to read it, are negative, saying things such as hot, stuttering garbage, even on low settings, and as broken as my household. In one word, ouch.
Jesus.
So, and I was like, what are they talking about? Like, how is it? I didn't even know it was released on PC. So they are doing a hot fix. They're addressing the jittering. It's mostly the jittering is due to mouse controlled camera movement. So if you've played on, of course, if you've ever played with a controller, your camera movement is usually with your right hand and it's the stick. On PC, it's with your mouse and you move your mouse around, and each mouse is different, and most of the time you can change how quickly or slowly your movement back and forth is. So people were messing around with that, thinking that it was a them issue and not the game. The camera movement, some crashes, more of The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is slated for Tuesday. A larger patch with additional fixes will be deployed later in the week. They also encourage players. So again, if you are now playing The Last of Us for the first time on PC, they're saying ensure you're using the latest NVIDIA, which they just had 2 updates back to back, AMD and Intel graphics drivers. Our team and our dedicated partners at Iron Galaxy will continue to investigate and address known issues to deliver the great The Last of Us Part 1 experience that you expect. The PC port had originally been scheduled for a March 3rd release, but then it was pushed back to March 28th. So yeah, it's been about 5 days. So if you're playing on PC, you're freaking out because it's not what you expected, don't worry, they're fixing it. They're going to work on it. Like I said, I played it on PS4 and then I ported it over. That's not the word I'm looking for. You can launch your PlayStation through your PC, essentially. That's what I played it on.
Remote play.
And I didn't have any issues, and I used keyboard and mouse when I played it. But yeah, The Last of Us is fantastic, and we've discussed in length how well they created it, and especially Last of Us Part 2. You can literally play it blindfolded and still be able to play the game. Last of Us Part 1 is I feel like they were the stepping stone for people who played with games with disabilities. They were a big stepping stone, but Last of Us Part 2 was definitely like blow everybody out of the water.
Super Blind Man was a part of that.
Yeah.
He was a part of the setup for the accessibility options, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah. He's the one that basically worked them through for the Last of Us 2 on the accessibilities.
Yeah, they've been updating a lot of the drivers. So anytime I'm booting up my PC, unless it's one of my cat finding games that I've been obsessed with lately, I'm checking my NVIDIA because it's been back to back driver updates. The last one was pretty long too. Normally it's like a 5-10 minute kind of ordeal. So check your drivers. They're gonna fix it. Don't freak out. Just wait. I promise. It's so good. It's so worth it. And in other Last of Us news, so Pedro Pascal, obviously he plays Joel in the game. I love Pedro Pascal. Anyways, Dust and I have decided that if he ever was like, I'll come live with you guys, we would share him. Anywho, so he's been very instrumental in getting into the game. He played it. He really wanted to embody Joel, and he was very big. If you watched, like, as the episodes came out, like, he would tweet and read the reviews. Obviously, for people who are conservative and closed-minded, this was not a show for you, and boy, are there more surprises coming up ahead. But after every episode, you would see him tweeting or quote tweeting somebody about the episode and nasty remarks that people were saying because, oh my God, there are gay people in the world and we exist. Oh no. But he is not looking at the reviews for the last episode. And he spoiled it a little bit, saying that the show writers, now if you've played The Last of Us, I'm not going to spoil it for you if you haven't, or if you haven't seen the last episode. It's very abrupt. The things that happen. Okay. The dynamic changes very slowly near the last 3 hours of the game, and I would say the dynamic changes the last 3 to 4 episodes of the show. Okay, stick with me here. The dynamic between the two main characters. Now, the very end, when things are coming to a conclusion, that dynamic went from to absolutely not, in a heartbeat. And it was very abrupt. And even the showrunners discussed possibly changing it a bit. But Pedro Pascal said if you do that, it's not the same. It wouldn't have the same impact at all. And it's funny because, from somebody who has had a lot of medical issues, and I've had to essentially get like a fake PhD because doctors can't even spell my brain condition half the time. Dust is very used to being in doctor's appointments and listening in and all of that. And when the last episode happened, he paused it and he goes, that doesn't make any sense. They wouldn't do that. Why would they do that? That's stupid. I know it's the apocalypse, but dang, why would they do that? And so it was very interesting to kind of see it from his perspective, seeing what I go through medically. And he was like, you could absolutely screw the whole pooch to not, again, give it away, screw the whole pooch and lose out on what your whole goal was doing what you're doing. And so people were very, very upset about the ending, and I was curious what you guys thought, and I'll stop talking now.
I never watched the ending because I never watched the series. So like that's just basically where it goes down. So I
I would say no. You didn't watch me play the game. You would pop in for 5 minutes, say hi, I would respond, and you were already gone. So never mind. Smitty, there you go. You're
up. I watched one episode. And it was the one with what's his name from Parks and Recreations. That dude.
Offerman.
Yeah, Nick Offerman. Yeah. Thank you. That which was a really, really good episode.
Husband, which she was like, if you do not play this character, I will divorce you.
Yeah, really good episode. And I was just like, I was a big fan of it. And but like, I know, I mean, I'm gonna eventually watch it. I know I am. But like, I was just waiting for it to all come out, and I'll eventually get to it. But so really, I mean, first off, I don't care about what people like. The social opinions for me, I've learned a long time ago that social's opinions about the ending and stuff to people, I really care less about what they're willing to do, because you can either just stay mad at the people's naivety of it, of people's, like, you know, expectations are for the deal, because it's either that's not what they would have done, or they just don't care, they just didn't like it because it's not it's not in their mind the way it should have been. So I don't care. With that kind of deal overall.
I do want to answer Mr. Seven Figures. He had asked, you know, like, what was the whole hubbub about? So if you don't know, fun fact, gay people exist. Wow. Hi, I'm one of them. And the show, which it was in the game, it's not like they're shoving things down your throat. It's almost like the reintroduction of an album recently that had a rainbow on it, and the conservatives lost their mind. It's like, that was always on the album cover, you freaking idiots, and none of them are in the LGBTQAI plus community. People felt that homosexuality was being forced down their throats, this, that, and the other, and it's like, wait a minute, like, you're missing the entirety of what this game, what the show is about. It's about people finding themselves and learning that other side of themselves that they didn't know that they had, on top of already being gay and discovering themselves, this, that, and the other. So basically, that's what they were upset about. They can go shove a you-know-what up there, you-know-what, as far as I'm concerned.
I just, like I said, I don't care. Life's too short to even worry about those folks like that. But as for the other deal with the game, it's actually kind of disappointing, because like Sony's been on a good roll on porting their PlayStation games to PC. I mean, with God of War, Spider-Man, the Spider-Mans actually, and all these Horizon Zero Dawn, all these different stuff. To say that they failed pretty badly on this one is kind of sad. But I'm glad that they're actually fixing whatever they're needing to fix. If they have the idea what's going to be fixed, then I'd rather just take a look at the port, because I mean, most of these ports look just as beautiful, if not better, than what it was on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't seem that everybody's having issues with it. Like NVIDIA users, from what I could tell, now this is doing like a quick dive in, NVIDIA users, as long as you were updating, even with the last 2 updates, if you hadn't done it, you weren't having too much issues with the jittering and the stuttering. But you know, CD Projekt is very adamant, like, we created a masterpiece, and just because it was a masterpiece on these consoles and we're now porting it over, we want you to also experience that same experience like the first time they did. You know what I mean? And that's what I appreciate, is they are 100% not going to let this fail. And thank you, CD Projekt. You guys are amazing.
Yeah. Smitty, what do you think?
It wasn't Naughty Dog. It wasn't Naughty Dog that did.
Oh my God, it's correct? Naughty Dog. Why am I saying CD Projekt? Yeah. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Look, I've had 4 brain surgeries. I'm lucky I remember my name when I wake up. Okay, sorry, Naughty Dog. I love you guys. So you can sponsor me.
I don't think they're the ones that actually did the port. I think it's a company that did a port recently of Nathan Drake, the Nathan Drake port.
Is that Sony? Sony didn't do the port directly?
I don't think it's Sony. I think it's somebody else. And I can't remember. I didn't even think about it.
I'm looking it up right now. Give me
take a look and see. But yeah, it sucks too. And I feel
Galaxy.
and I think Iron Galaxy. Thank you. That's who it is. Yes. And you know, Naughty Dog is like, look, because they very much, like, they have a beautiful game. We all realize that there's issues with this port. That's not on Naughty Dog. It's actually on Iron Galaxies, and them and how they ported it over. I don't know where the issues, you know, came, but like, apparently people are still loading shaders as we speak. I mean, it's crazy how bad some of the stuff looks, which would completely detract you, especially if you've never played the series. I would stop playing. is what I would do. Don't experience
definitely.
it like that. Don't experience like that. Let them fix the stuff. Let them do the things, and then come back and do something about it.
It's a damn shame because you're right. Yeah, you're totally right, because it's a damn shame, because like this is like Last of Us Part 1 is a masterpiece. It is legitimately one of the biggest, like it is literally one of the top 10 games of all time in my own personal opinion, especially how it was,
and that's saying a lot from Davis.
I mean, I like good games. I mean, then that was a great game.
It's my favorite. This is what got me into horror, for sure.
Yeah, builders and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, definitely it is not like the depiction of what you're experiencing on PC. It's not the depiction of what it was originally, and especially with the up-to-date graphics. So no, I totally agree with Smitty, dude. Like,
big ups on Naughty Dog for going back and being like, look, we're gonna make sure that, you know what I mean, that we get this solid. Not only that, but you guys also have to remember, I believe it's this year that either this year or next year, they're working on that multiplayer and bringing some form of the multiplayer back too. So you don't want that stuff, you know what I mean, like to be impacted by this negativity from people. So it's unfortunate that they definitely came out stumbling, but it's good to see that they are super on top of correcting the issues and getting that stuff. I think they are probably working directly with the video, because there were memory leaks. There was, I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen absolutely looks bonkers. It's like, how did this even make it live with these kinds of issues? You're talking about 4090s having troubles. You know what I mean? People not having enough resources with a 2070. Like, people are meeting the minimum specs and they can't actually play the game. Like, it's insane. It's insane. And you know that game is gorgeous already. So it's going to be super graphically intensive. It's crazy to think that that's the part that flopped for sure.
And also, if you are like myself and you're super impatient and you happen to have a PlayStation 4, it's just as beautiful. And I played it on my PC through my PlayStation. You know, I run to the room, put the code in, run back, put the code in. And I played it and it was stunning. And it's a lot cheaper at the moment, I believe.
So like $10.
If you were that impatient, like, by all means, like, the PlayStation 4 looks fantastic. I don't think they have it available for PlayStation 5, or you can play it on the PlayStation 5.
They do have it for PS5. They remade it.
But did they? Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm dead today.
It was the remaster.
It's the remaster.
Yeah, you know, it still looked beautiful on PlayStation 4. But granted, don't take my advice. I'm light sensitive and colorblind, so what do I know? You know what I'm saying? But I know I'm very impatient. If I bought something and it's not working, I'm either going to sit there for 6 hours and try to make it work, or I'm going to find a workaround. And if you are like me and you want to work around, you know, turn on that PlayStation 4 and get to playing, girl. Or boy, or they, them, whoever. You know, it looks fantastic, and it plays just as well. So there you go. But
and then in terms of the final episode, something was off for me as well. And for me, it was something about the pacing of that last episode. It did not work for me. They had beautiful pacing throughout. And again, I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything like that. I've, played the game and everything. So I know, you know what I mean? In terms of the two and whatnot, but something about the pacing in the show felt off. And it
beginning, middle, or end, may I ask?
The whole thing, the whole episode.
Really?
Of all the episodes, that was probably my least favorite episode. Yeah, and for me, it had more to do about the pacing. I felt like throughout the show, throughout the series, they really took their time, investing us or building this investment in the characters and what's going on and the world that they're living in. And then the final episode just felt it just didn't jive right with me for some reason. It didn't.
And I think it's funny that you say that, because when I played it literally days before the second one came out, and you had played it years prior, right? So I had more of like a fresh. This is so sorry, Mr. Mike. So I had a very fresh of this is what happened. Now we're here, right? I can understand why you feel the pacing was off. I think because I knew it was coming, I was already I'm not going to say that. I can understand why you would say that, but I would say the action sequence that did take place, the major one, I would say middle to like 2/3 in, felt perfect for me. It was like I was back in the game, controller in my hand, and I was taking fools out. You know what I mean? Like for me, that pacing matched exactly how I felt when I played the game. And so I could understand how if it's been a while or maybe, but I do agree. It was my least favorite episode out of all of them, but I knew it would be because I know how abrupt it is. Does that make sense?
It's interesting because that's the part that took me out of it, was that action. It was, again, I felt like the whole thing has been a simmering of a pot, right? Of these different ingredients and stuff like that mixing together and coming together. And then all of a sudden I felt like someone grabbed a ladle and just whipped me in the face with whatever they
got smacked with that wooden spoon. Grandma, stop.
Here, eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like the pacing of it just felt, and again, I don't know necessarily that it was necessarily a bad thing. It just felt off for me, and maybe I need to go back and rewatch it. Maybe it was just the experience in the the environment that I was watching it in. It just it didn't feel good. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a like a happy joy kind of way. It just felt like something doesn't feel right in terms of the pacing of how that episode played out for me.
Well, and I think too, because
well, I'm just saying we'll probably need to cut off a little bit because we're well over at this point.
We'll stop.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I mean, it's all subjective for the most part. But the biggest thing is that if people are going to be, if it's a trolling situation with it, then I mean, then I really don't care. Personally, I try not to make it not care.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, because I mean, like, obviously, like your view is different than what Smitty's is, and I mean, and stuff like that. But I mean, but you're able to discuss cordially, why
don't disagree.
Why it is, exactly.
We really don't disagree on much, and the things that we do disagree on are so minimal that it's not like you're not my best friend anymore. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
It's like you're not welcomed at my house. Yeah, that kind of situation.
I'm gonna touch you with my cat.
Oh man. Folks, thank you for listening to episode number 169 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. We will be back again next weekend. But if you did miss out on this episode, that is perfectly all right. We will release it on Monday, every Monday morning, each and every week. So there is absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices.
Oh yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. And also be sure to go check out our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, for some awesome content. I know right now I'm on a small hiatus on Pop Culture Gems, but that is okay. We'll be back again later on with some awesome interviews with other folks in the future. So once again, this is Davis signing off with Lex and Smitty. Y'all, take it easy.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.